consistently attract soulmate clients, begin showing up on brand, monetizing on your calling. Welcome all spiritual coaches, leaders, healers, light workers, and practitioners to a show that turns you on in your business and amplifies your magnetism. I'm host, catalyst, and spiritual business coach Rosalyn Fung, and I'm here to journey with you into the juicy and help you discover where the real gaps are. Ignite your mindset and soul with strategies and systems as each episode takes you to the sweet spot that activates your soulgasmic business. Enjoy this light language activation as we begin to magnetize and monetize. Hello, my loves. Welcome to another powerful and potent episode. I am so excited to have one of my dearest friends and one of my, I would say, like longer time friends here, and definitely a dear teacher who's been a huge influence in my life. And I would say we're probably like business besties too. So before I introduce Timmie, I want to just share with you, this episode is absolutely for you. If you have been thinking about becoming a holistic health practitioner, or you might be currently a holistic health practitioner and you are desiring to enhance your skills and qualifications through certifications in healing modalities, energy modalities such as Reiki, crystal healing, flower essence, and aromatherapy. So stay tuned for this episode, and because you're gonna like learn so much from Timmie. And before we move into that as well, I just want to check in with you. If you are a coach, a healer, a light worker, and you're desiring to level up in your relationship with yourself, take your soul-led business to the next level, I am looking for 5 impact hungry queens to client attract their next 3 to 5 high ticket clients in 30 to 60 days. So if this is you, you can DM me on Instagram at Bold Sexy Warrior Soul Ascension, and we will get the process going to see if it's aligned for us to work together. This is by application only. You can also email me, Rosalyn at rosalynfung.com. All right, my love. So I have here today my very special guest, Timmie Horvath. Like I said, she's one of my dearest friends. She's one of my soul sisters. We're business besties. We can jump anything behind the scenes. We'll probably slip a little bit in here as well to support you in our lessons and our learnings as we have grown in our businesses. So personally, my story with Timmie is, goodness, this was, I think we go way back to when I was still a licensed psychologist. So, Timmie, I want to say like 7 years at least, if not more than that, maybe even 8. Like, it's been a really long time.
At least 8 years. I always base it on how old my son is, because I had just sold, for lack of a better word, my previous franchise, my event planning franchise, Modern Mama, and I was still connected with the new licensee, and she had invited me to do a Reiki workshop, and you were speaking at that workshop, so that would have had to be circa 2013.
Oh my gosh.
2013, yeah.
And so I don't even know how this even came into my hands, probably at some sort of like trade show or something, but your business postcard, which was a beautiful postcard. It had a woman meditating, which I thought it was you, but it wasn't you. And she's got all the chakras in all the right spots, and it had your business website and all the contacts information. I had not personally met you. I don't even, like I said, I don't know how the business card came to me, but obviously divinely guided. And I remember I kept that postcard for the longest time. I had checked your website. I had started following you, getting your emails. And I'm like, this lady is amazing. And I couldn't throw away because truth be told, I throw away a lot of business cards. Which now I'm wiser. I know not to do that, but, follow up. But I couldn't throw yours out. I don't know why. At that point in time, I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to keep it. And so when I was speaking at Modern Mama, I was specializing in food and body image and self-love. So I was doing a presentation for the women. And then when I learned that you were the second speaker of the night, I was like, oh my God, it's Timmie. And so we just it was like, I feel like it was like our souls remembered each other.
Oh, absolutely. It's so funny you were saying that because I almost forgot about that business card, but I did get a lot of positive feedback for that. And I just kind of threw it together. And at the time, I was a lot younger and a lot of people did say, is this you in the card? I'm like, no, clearly it's not, but okay, whatever. But I'm wondering now, it's not that difficult to take a picture. I should just reproduce that, but have it me. And then I could just put the chakras on the way.
Totally. You're so creative.
Not really. I mean, it's hardly an original idea, but thank you.
I love it. Well, Timmie, before we continue jamming and having you share your story, I want to let the audience know if Timmie is new to you. Let me share with you her bio and her background a little bit more formally. She's an incredible, brilliant woman. So Timmie Horvath is a board-certified natural wellness practitioner, registered massage therapist, Reiki master teacher, and she was my first one, by the way, in Usui Reiki, and holistic health educator. She's the founder of the Sacred Wellness School of Healing Arts and Clinic, where she offers professional certification courses in energy healing and natural wellness, which we'll share more about today. The Sacred Wellness School of Healing Arts is an accredited learning center for holistic health studies. She specializes in helping students grow from absolute beginner to professional practitioners. The Sacred Wellness School is approved CE providers with many associations, including Yoga Alliance and the Natural Health Practitioners of Canada. And so let's welcome Timmie. I'm so excited for us to be jamming here together today, love. So I'd love for you to share your story of how you got to be who you are and create what you have in your business today.
Sure. Well, my story actually begins back when I was still a licensed practical nurse. I was working in community care. My whole life, I've always been interested in health and obsessed with health and wellness. And so I've been a yoga and fitness instructor since 2009. It's just, even when I was little, I just loved reading about fitness and all of that stuff. It just really, really thrilled me. And I loved movement. I'm not an athlete that way. I'm not good at competitive sports, but when I discovered yoga at a very young age, I found a way to move my body that was non-competitive, but was still empowering. And I've always been a dancer, but just the whole idea of, working with the body and understanding the body's innate wisdom just always was part of who I was. Anyway, after I became a nurse, as you can imagine, when you go into a very evidence-based field, I put away all of my consideration for holistic health and alternative health. Not on purpose. It just kind of happened that way, right? Because you spend so many years studying, conventional medicine and operating within that field. And I had a coworker who was an occupational therapist, and he was very much into Reiki and metaphysical healing and all of the stuff that I love. I just, whenever I think about it, it's like, oh, that's stuff I liked when I was a teenager. I liked that stuff before, but I know better now, right? And that's the way I saw it. But I really respected my coworker, and I thought, you're a very intelligent person. You have your master's. What are you doing dabbling in this stuff? And then I became pregnant. And then I experienced a lot of pain during my pregnancy. I had very, very loose joints. So I had to wear a splint in my dominant hand. My lower back was hurting. So I was very, very pregnant, but also very active. I was still teaching a lot of Zumba, and I was in constant pain. So I was looking for natural pain relief because, of course, doctors are very hesitant to give anything to a pregnant person because of, potential side effects and reactions. And certainly within the herbal realm and the natural realm, they don't want to give pregnant people anything either, at least not at the time. They were like, nope, you're just going to have to deal with it. So the only thing I was Googling, I was researching, what can I do to help my body? And the only thing that came up was energy healing and Reiki. And I was like, oh, goodness. Well, the worst thing that can happen is nothing happens. And that's actually my motto, not really my motto, but I always do say that to my students, but in a different perspective. So long story short, at the time, there was a new holistic practitioner in town. And she was doing Groupon. Do you remember Groupon, doing Groupons for her healings, right?
Yes.
And I said, okay, well, I'm going to try it, but I don't want to pay a lot of money for it in case it's a dud. So I'll wait for a Groupon. And exactly the very next day, the first email at the top of my inbox was for like a Reiki energy healing session for like $40. And I thought, okay, well, whatever. I've spent $40 on random stuff before. So I did it. And I just remember thinking, I cannot explain what happened there, but that was the most peaceful that I've ever felt in my entire life. And I just wanted to learn more. I couldn't get enough out of it. And that was the first time in many years that I had the thought that I can't explain this. There's no actual real data that I can think of to come up to why this is true. By the way, there is, people, they have studied this, but I didn't know that at the time. But suffice it to say, I wanted to learn more. I just went to the library, not willing to invest any money in this whatsoever. So I found a DVD with a distance healing attunement on it. And I thought, I don't know what that means, but he says I put in the DVD and I'll get a healing. So during the DVD, he said, think of something to focus on. So I was focusing on my wrist, which was splinted at the time. So I just popped in the DVD and I didn't think anything of it. And then 3 days later, I realized, oh, I haven't been wearing my splint. I just completely have stopped needing it entirely. And I thought, that's weird. So I go to my friend, the OT, and I say, hey, you know what? My wrist was healed, but it was from a DVD. Isn't that weird? And he just looks at me dead serious. And he's like, no, that's not weird. That stuff happens to me all the time. That's how energy healing works. And then he just went on with his day. And I was like, oh, that's just how energy healing works, is it? So I was like, fine. So I found another practitioner. I started getting regular Reiki sessions. And then the very first practitioner, both of those women actually ended up being my teachers. I received attunements from both of them. And the very first one ended up putting on her own Reiki shamanic healing energy mastery program. And I did that program over the course of a year. It was a big investment for me at the time because I could hardly justify it, right? I couldn't say what this was going to be for and where I was going to get an ROI from it. Right. And, I was very young and, we didn't have a lot of money to spend on stuff like this, but I did it anyway somehow. And then after that, during that time, I was sharing Reiki with my kids. They really, really liked it. My sons were very young at the time. And I had the idea that, I wonder, as much as I love Reiki, I wonder if other people want to learn about it too. And so while this is all happening in the background, I kept this all to myself because I was embarrassed and I didn't know how to explain it to other people. I was embarrassed basically, but it was working for me and that's all that mattered. I had left nursing because they had laid everybody off, as it happens in nursing periodically. So I invested in the Modern Mama franchise, which was one of the best things that I could have ever done because it taught me it was basically feet to the fire event planning in Edmonton, basically how to run events and how to fill seats is what I learned really fast, because if you don't fill seats, you're in trouble. And so I got lot of very valuable business contacts. I learned how to circuit crowd venues. I had to know the city of St. Albert like the back of my hand because I was promoting that city. That was my job, my right. And because they knew I was also, I had my nutrition coaching certification. I was a wellness practitioner. I would save a lot of money and I would save the other franchisees a lot of money, or licensees rather, by being the speaker, right? Because it's like, right. I'm free for me, so I'll speak. So after all of that experience, hosting events and speaking and my passion for Reiki, I thought, I wonder if I could put this together. Would people even be interested in learning about Reiki? So I started my first workshop in 2015. And then it went well. And then the next one, I thought, I wonder if someone would like another one and another one. Maybe I'll teach level 2. And it just kind of kept growing from there. And everything that I've done has been in response to my students, the people who I've been attracting. Like the crystal healing course, I was obsessed with crystals before I even knew that Reiki existed. But that one too, I just kept that. And I wrote the course the next year. And then the chakra therapy certification came from people saying, you talk so much about the chakras, tell us more, tell us more, tell us more. And, you know, I like to really keep things on topic, of course, with my courses. And I said, you know what, I'll tell you we'll discuss the least you need to know with regards to Reiki. And if we're being really, really strict, like pure Reiki wouldn't have a chakra system, but I do talk about the chakras in my courses. So I wrote that course. And then I discovered essential oils and started using them and wanted to learn how to use them for myself. And then I became a practitioner. And then again, people are asking. So I'm constantly responding to the industry. I'm very passionate about the holistic health industry because it's a very interesting field where you really, because there are no barriers to entry in holistic health, it is incumbent upon the practitioner to take it upon themselves to have solid education. And as a client, you don't really know in this field of unregulated health professionals who are holding these people accountable. What is the best education? You're basically trusting people based on their business card, based on their photo shoot. Are they really good practitioners or not? And so I'm passionate about sharing really solid education from real life experience for myself as a practitioner, because I did have my own practice growing along. And then I went back to massage school, right? Because I missed nursing and I missed that field. And then a lot of my clients are massage therapists. I'm a massage junkie myself. So I practice what I preach. And I thought I should learn how to do this thing that I love, that resonates with me. And I can finally also maybe better understand my students and my clients. And I do in a way, but also I can see where the gaps are in the industry, and I can see where the confusion is. So that's just added more fuel to my fire as an educator to really empower people to know that, because there's never mind massage, but there are massage therapists, acupuncturists, and other practitioners out there who want to offer energy work and who want to dabble in these other things and want to offer, like, whether it's aromatherapy is a very popular one. I love aromatherapy, and it's very easy to use. Well, people think it's very easy to use, rather, and they want to do it in a way that has integrity, and they want to do it in a way that's legal. They want to do it within their scope of practice, and they don't really know where to go from there. So my goal is to provide that solid education, and part of the education is always like, from here, how does this actually apply to your real life? This is what you do in a session. This is what you can do. This is what you probably shouldn't do. And so that's always been my goal with the Sacred Wellness School of Healing Arts, is to help to be there for anybody who wants to learn. And certainly a lot of people come take these courses and they just use it for personal knowledge, right? They have no desire to start a holistic practice, and that's perfect. But for the record, the majority of my students who ended up starting their own holistic businesses were the ones that said they were never going to do it. So
that speaks highly of your courses and how much you inspire other people and catalyze other people to move in. And I really feel like activating their soul's purpose. I mean, even that business postcard you had that I've somehow, it landed in my hands, you know, just never thought that I would even, Reiki would be a thing for me, but you've been so much part of my spiritual awakening journey. So it speaks highly. And I will say, honestly, and I'm speaking to the audience here, Timmie, you are Timmie is one of the best teachers I've ever met. The way you teach really showcases, first of all, your heart and your passion, which I feel like is the most important. And then also you share it in a way that, because I know you do so much research. you are full of knowledge and wisdom, and you want to be grounded in research. So it's not just this thing you heard, or it's not just, you know, this woo stuff that has no grounding. Like, you have done your research, especially with essential oils too. Like, I know the world of aromatherapy, there's a lot of controversy there, and knowing you and how diligent you are with research, and then the way you deliver the information is so grounded and practical and understandable. So I'm speaking to the audience like, Timmie is your teacher. If you're looking for enhancing your skills. And I'm not just saying that because I love Timmie. I honestly feel like you're one of the best teachers I've ever met. Very organized, very structured, but at the same time, you just let your feminine flow through. So,
Thank you.
I feel like
I appreciate that.
Those. Yeah, seriously. So incredible.
Thank you.
And I love your story because I feel like a lot of people at the beginning of their journey to a spiritual awakening can probably relate. I can certainly relate too with that whole, we come more from a clinical background, and it's like this like totally different Eastern philosophy that's very foreign to the Western world and the Western philosophies. And so I can personally relate with that whole skepticism piece and going like, okay, I'll follow this. And just like, you just keep falling toe, like, boom.
Yeah.
We are here. We are embodied in this new frequency. So it's so powerful and potent.
Well, thank you. You're same to you. I mean, you did something very similar in a way, right? You were you were a clinical psychologist, and I feel like you'll always be. Correct me if I'm wrong, but even though I'm not practicing as a nurse, it's not just a title, right? Like I'm always going to be a nurse. That's just who I am. And that informs everything I do, even though I'm definitely not fit to practice. It's been way too many years. I would have to go back to school. But I mean, like the essence of that client-centered care, right? And that's exactly,
Yeah, exactly. So there's just so much similarities. And I know that for a lot of my clients as well as probably yours, we all come from a medicine background or clinical fields, and just like how the amazing, I love how that starts to get infused into their personal life, and then it's like, there's something more here, and it turns into a business. So it's really cool.
Yes. Well, that's how a lot of people start, everybody has a different trajectory, but a very common story is that somebody discovers this for themselves. They go through some sort of dark night of the soul, or whether it's a physical or an emotional trauma that they've experienced, for whatever reason, they're looking for alternative methods of healing. And so they discover whatever it is that they discover, and they find that it works and it changes their life. And thought that seems to occur pretty consistently with other people is, I want people to experience this level of peace or this level of healing that I've experienced as well. Now, this is the part where things can get a little bit dicey, right? Because we can come to that point from I've seen it come from people who are so jaded from the medical industry, right? They've been, for many unfortunate reasons, they've just had horrible treatment from the medical industry, and they found solace and care in the holistic health industry. Now, just so you know, the story does exist the other way around, but we don't talk about that because it doesn't sell very much. So if it comes from that point, then the statement is, I want to help people find the healing that I couldn't find because medicine sucks and they all suck, right? And so they need to know that this is an option too. Or it comes from a more egoic perspective of, oh my goodness, I healed myself. I want to show the world how much I healed. I want to show you all the amazing things that I can do. Don't you want to learn from me? We all arrive at that point at some point, and this is where the industry really starts to filter you out. So when you decide that you're going to take that call, because the call of the healer, if you will, it's a very specific call. Not everybody wakes up one day and decides that they're going to start a holistic health practice, or they would like to, because it's a very high risk industry, let's face it, right? Because it's not conventional. It's the opposite of conventional. We have conventional, then we have alternative, right? And so I think what you were getting at there is like, it's scary. It's scary for practitioners, especially if you're coming from that clinical background, or especially if you were perceived to be a certain kind of person, whatever that is, to all of a sudden say, hey, by the way, I've been doing these things. And unfortunately, people think that they have to change their personality or how they dress just because they start alternative modalities, which is not true. That's the Instagram toxicity there. But then to really step in that integrity And even with massage therapists who are, I would say that they're conventional therapy, but a lot of people would say it falls under alternative healing, right? Because it's regulated in the US and some parts of Canada, but not all parts. I find that there's a lot of fear coming from these people. They want to be respected as health professionals. They want to be respected as clinicians or whatever it is that they say. They know what they do is very, very serious. I hear this from psychologists as well, that they want to be taken seriously because they're serious professionals. So how on earth can they then integrate holistic modalities into their practice and still be respected, right? And so my response to that is simply, people will take it as seriously as you take it. Yeah. And basically what it is. If there's any doubt in your mind that this is just woo-woo fluff, or it might not work, or maybe it worked for me, but it might not work for you, or the other extreme being like, this is going to cure all of your problems, which it won't, nothing will. Energetically, that's going to come through. But if you can stand your ground and say, this is what I offer, and this is what I offer, and these are also what I offer. These are valid options if you're open to them. And everything informs what I do here, regardless of what the service that you're actually paying for. Those people will have no problem, right? And part of feeling that way, it's not just reading a ton of books, but really getting that learning and having that goal in mind. Like, what is the purpose of this course that I'm taking? Like, my end goal here is to take this knowledge and then apply it to my practice. See where that goes.
What would you say? Thank you for sharing that. And, I think before we move into commercial, what would be the top reason people get attracted to sacred wellness?
I think, I know that as a clinic, people come to me because they know I am a holistic practitioner and energy worker. So it's very interesting because I have a lot of clients who will book even just massage, and they may or may not book it. So my most popular service is a massage and Reiki combination session where we do massage and then we do Reiki. But I will have people who have booked a massage and then they're like, I was really attracted to your clinic because I know that you do Reiki and you do all of these other, you get it. You get the whole picture, right? Yeah. Like you get the full thing. So I think that people really like that. People want to work with somebody, even if it's only in one capacity, they know that they have that option and they know they feel more understood. And as far as why people were attracted to my school, I always ask people, how did you find me? I Googled you. What made you decide to take the course? I don't know. I just really liked the energy of your website. I saw your picture and I felt like I resonated with you, or I felt like we connected. So that's what people tell me. And at first, when I first heard that, I'm like, okay, well, props to my photographer for making me look how I don't actually look. Whatever that means, right? Like, and for setting the stage and everything. But I hope people choose to work with me because they can tell that I take this very, very seriously. And so that they're going to come out with a solid education, with a certification and a designation that means something in an industry where there are a million dime a dozen certificates. So people can know that, okay, you came from this school, you worked hard for it, you paid good money for it, like you were serious. It's not something that you did that anybody can do, right?
So I feel like also what speaks to you and your mission, like people are really feeling aligned with your mission as well, that, yes, you're serious about this and you're calling in people who are serious about, like you said, sometimes people are not, they might not be serious about like starting a business. That's not why some of those people they want to, but they're serious about healing. They're serious. They're feeling called to open up more possibilities to improve their quality of life and perhaps the people around them. And knowing you, that's often who you are calling in. And then I feel like because you are very relatable, you're very personable, it is your energy. I love that. Well, maybe it's just my photographer because I have those thoughts too. But our energy introduces us. Like energy doesn't lie. So, it's like you're very present in your I'm not just going to say social media, but I feel like you're very present in your your social media, your marketing, sorry. But also, I mean, even before Instagram was a thing, I don't even know, was it a thing when you and I met? I don't even remember.
I don't think so. No, it wasn't.
But the energy in your business cards, your postcards, like clearly I can throw that away for whatever reason, because we were meant to be, we're divinely guided to each other. So, and really, like, that's what soulmate clients are. We're
Right.
guided to each other through our energy. And I feel like
Yes.
you clearly have that luminous energy that calls in your clients, whether it's now or 5 years from now, but like the ripple effects have already begun. So it's amazing. We can chat more about that after commercial.
Yes. Sounds good.
OMTimes TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
Are you feeling maxed out working one-on-one with clients and you're deeply desiring to scale your business for more time freedom without sacrificing your income, but rather expanding it? Many of my clients who are light workers, healers, practitioners, and even coaches, they're often multi-modality, are coming to me because they are sick and tired of working with clients on a one-off session model where the clients are coming in on an as-need basis. Or if they're selling packages, they are selling them in the sense of buy 5, get 1 free, or the greater the number of sessions, the greater the discount. The problem with this is it's still a dollar for hours business model. And so that leaves the practitioner feeling really exhausted and overwhelmed from having to put so much time, effort, and energy in finding new clients that they're not operating in their most elevated self with their current clients. And so if this is you, I would love to share with you that it's time to elevate your business and scale it to sell high ticket one-on-one programs or even group programs. This will allow you to have more deeper impacts because you're raising your clients' results, you're scaling your business, and you're having that time freedom you deeply are yearning for. If this is resonating with you, love, I'd love to invite you to come on a soul business alignment call with me so that you can stop feeling like you're on this roller coaster ride and start to feel safe and stable and even having fun in your business and your finances. Please go to electrifymybusiness.com to apply and we'll hop on a call. I can't wait to connect.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back, loves. So Timmie and I were just jamming before the commercial about the power of energy. And when we are doing energy or our work ourselves, you know, we're healing ourselves. And then that really helps with our auric field and becoming more luminous. So Timmie, I know you wanted to share something a little bit more around that as well. And I'm going to say that this is related to client attraction.
Definitely. What you were just saying before we went to commercial, we were talking about what attracts people you were asking why people were attracted to work with me. And it occurred to me that a lot of these people have one big thing in common, which is that they're very cognizant of their energy field. And so why they're drawn to energy healing, and maybe not so much that maybe they want to work with me, or maybe they just like what I have to offer, but they've become so aware of their energy field. And a lot of the time it manifests in negative ways. So I do have a lot of, whether you're a massage therapist or a nurse, I have a lot of social workers, a lot of people who work in a care setting, and they're just starting to really feel more than ever before the energy of other people and to manage their own energy. And so I think that kind of person as well, who no longer wants to be a victim to their circumstance and wants to understand why this is happening and what they can do about it. And they realize that this is all interconnected with all of the things in their life. And so it's funny, the trajectory of understanding with a student in the field of energy is, a lot of the time they're like, I'll just be satisfied if someone can explain why I feel like this. Sometimes it happens all of a sudden. Or sometimes it's like, I remember this from when I was a child and now it's coming back again. And now I feel weird and what's happening and who can explain this? And then once they realize why it's happening, then they go, wait a minute, this is actually affecting every single area of my life. And so now knowing this, they can feel empowered to actually do something about it. And so that's one of the greatest things about Reiki. That was my own personal journey, was I wanted a way to be able to help myself, not to the exclusion of other forms of treatment, certainly not. If anything, energy work can enhance it. And, a lot of people think that it's necessary for you to want to profit from, these trainings and certifications. And if that's what you want, then that's absolutely possible. Anything. I do believe in people. So I think people like that about me too, especially in as a business coach. Like I really see it for people that they can do what they want to do. But also it's valuable even for yourself. So these courses, I do say, for example, my online courses, I don't give a deadline for completion because I want people to know they have the option. This could just be a living library of information for you and exercises and guided meditations for you to be able to work through this energy. And if that makes your life more positive and gives you a sense of agency and control and surrender at the same time and compassion, then that is worth it, in my opinion. Anything that I've ever invested in that's made me feel connected to other people in a positive way is always going to be worth it. Because in the realm of energy, and this is where I really feel like I differentiate from other teachers, is I don't like to come at it from a fear of other people's energy. We will always be interacting with other people, never mind in person. You and I both know it happens over Zoom. It happens when we think about each other from a distance. It has nothing to do with physical proximity. And so energy, just understanding how that works and understanding that there's nothing really to be afraid of. We're still physical beings, right? And so we have that extreme grounded energy, but learning how to work through the chakras and to keep everything really, really balanced, that influences everything. And it's not just within humans, like there's a whole field of animal Reiki, which is not my specialty. Suffice it to say, of course, you can do energy work with animals. There are people who really specialize in that. But if I may, I've, in the last 5 or 6 years, really been diving into my own personal practice with plants and energy. So when I'm talking about plant medicine, and I know plant medicine can mean a million things these days, I'm speaking specifically about essential oils and flower essences and herbs, like as an herbal tea. Okay. And that's just about as far as I go for the purposes of my own teaching and teaching others anyway. Okay. So I just want to get that right off the hop. But each plant has its own spiritual intelligence. And in the same way that we work with crystals to enhance our energy field or to manifest certain intention or to help to keep us grounded, we can work with plants that way. And one of the best ways to do that really is through flower essences, which is another similar to aromatherapy. No barriers to entry. These things are available at the store and, you buy it. I'm not saying that the information that's provided isn't good information. It's excellent information. It basically gives you the 101 in like 10 seconds or less. But there is a huge missing component, because I had tried flower essences many years ago and I just said they didn't work because they didn't do anything for me, because I didn't know how to use them and I was using them wrong. And I didn't understand that they were not just homeopathic, they were also very energetic and vibrational in nature, and that there is actually a very specific way to select certain remedies for people. And so that's another practice. I would say it's both a plant and energetic practice that has been so personal and transformative for me, where I also ask the question, I wonder if people would be interested in learning about this. So for the last few years, I've been teaching introductory flower essence courses to moms groups. I've done quite a few moms groups. I've done women's circles. I've taught at schools and conventions about like flower essences, and just like that, it was the same thing like with Reiki. It's like, okay, Reiki was one thing, but like flower essences, now that's really weird, isn't it? I don't know. Do people care about this?
I love it.
You know, like but people do care, because it's a gentle and effective form of medicine. And so I'm so excited to also be teaching that to other people, because the only thing you get from these courses is, for the flower essence courses, is how to create the right remedy for yourself and for your close friends and family, and that's worth it. But of course, can you take that training and start and do consultations? Of course you can, and that's always going to be on offer. I will always offer that as education to my students, in case maybe they don't want to do it today, but they'll want to do it eventually. Yes.
That's so powerful. And I personally took your crystal healing certification course.
Yes,
and
yes.
I loved it. You were very thorough. Again, explained things so well. Do you want to speak a little bit about that course?
Yes, absolutely. So crystals and flower remedies, they hold a very, very special place in my practice, because these are two external things that have their own high vibration that we can work with. And the more I learn about crystals, the more I realize I don't know. And then there's always something more. There's always something more. Like I mentioned earlier, I wrote the Crystal Healing Certification program in 2016. But honestly, a lot of people don't know this, but Reiki is not my first metaphysical certificate. That Reiki practitioner that I discovered, who helped me during my pregnancy, she taught a crystal healing course. And that was my first real certification, was for crystal healing. And then I took more and more trainings, and then an advanced training. And it was, it's something that is fun and practical, and just applies to, there's so many different ways of working with crystals. So finally came the time when, people are asking, how do I do this? And like, okay, I'll do it. People want the course. And I think, not to say that the other courses aren't fun by any stretch of the imagination. Of course, they're all fun, but the crystal healing one is really like joyful, in the sense that people are there, they're excited. A lot of the time, they don't even have any particular thing that they're trying to heal in their lives. So just like, this is fascinating. I knew it. I knew there was something more to this. And so in my crystal healing certification course, it is open to all levels, and you can be an absolute beginner, but it is really meant to prepare you to work with crystals and to just open this whole new world of possibility. So we discuss how crystals work and really understanding how to work with them intuitively. Because if it's just a matter of memorizing books, anybody can do that. But that's, why waste your energy? This is not a hard science that we're doing, right? So the references will always be there. The apps and the websites will always be there. But I have a lot of emphasis. I have a lot of guided exercises. Like, people have to submit what they've experienced with these exercises for the online course anyway. What was it like meditating, communicating, and channeling with the crystals, right? And then from there, choosing which ones, and then seeing crystals not just as things, but as their own sentient beings, like spiritual beings in their own right, that have, crystallized into physical form. And then, so the world of crystals also interacts with, like, we're talking color energy, we're talking sacred geometry. And then over the years, what I've really added that I'm very, very proud of, it, there were the more practical components, because people, when they take the course, I started to see my students going in many different directions, right? And so some would start their own crystal grid companies. Some would go into jewelry. Some would just stay really with the body work and do like the healings. And some would do more like consult. And some would just set up shop and just buy wholesale, and they would just do that. And so then more of those questions started coming along. How can I support them with that? So I added the business of crystal healing module. We discuss more detail making crystal elixirs. So working with them, very similar to flower essences. That's in the course as well. How to do that, how that all works. And so you really come out with this huge toolkit. So you don't necessarily have to do all of them. That's a lot of stuff to do. And you may, look at all these different ways of working with crystals and be like, that sounds fun. That sounds like not my jam, whatever it is. Right. And again, it's not about, it's not just about your ROI, right? Like certainly I've seen people make a lot like that. That's the thing with crystals, right? Because they can be very expensive. And regardless of what your consumer thinks about the energetic practice of a crystal, you could say, this is the market value of this stone, take it or leave it. Right? It's pretty what it is. And that's what it is, whether you're doing a crystal bag. It just translates into so many different areas. And I'm so grateful to all of the people that I've learned over the years. And I continue to learn about crystals because I find people are becoming more and more empowered to work with their intuition, but also we're discovering new ways to put stones together, to create new stones, to make them more vibrant. But of course, there's going to be more, more conflict in that area, right? Because different teachers will have completely differing opinions about how to use crystals, how to work with them. That exists in metaphysical world, but especially in crystal healing, that's probably, I get the most questions about that in that course. Like, this person said I can't do this. This person says we only have to do this. And this person says, and my answer to that often is, does that resonate with you right now? Like, does that make sense? Sometimes people will say really crazy things and it's just like, no. That's like
you'll tell them straight out, like, no. But I love that you have to check in if that resonates with them.
Yeah.
Now, also, you and I chat lots about you having your Reiki certification online. And the question that always comes up is that as powerful as in person?
Oh, yes. Yes. So the long and short of it is, of course it is, because we're working with energy. We're not working in the physical realm. Okay. And then I'll just put this out there. So for the record, a lot of nurses, social workers, and psychologists have been for many years getting their education by distance. Okay. So when it comes time to actually work with people, of course, there's a practicum component. So in my online courses, this is where it differs. In an in-person workshop, because I can see you're sitting in front of me and I facilitate practice time between people, you get your practitioner certification at the end of the in-person training. For the online course, I do ask people to hand in case studies just so that they can show me that they've actually practiced what they've learned. But especially when it comes to Reiki, there is nothing to be taken away because especially with the attunement, people are like, is the attunement as effective? Everybody, for whatever reason you might think, who has ever made a living saying that you must come to Reiki in person has now gone back on that. Of course, over the past few years, of course it works. And if anything, it can be more powerful. And I hear that from a lot of my students. They, like yourself, they like to do a lot of energy work. They prefer for you to be physically apart. A Reiki attunement is not about, because what is the right way to attune somebody? Every teacher has their own way. Some people do a full ritual with a lot of hands-on. Some people don't do any hands-on. It's not about that. It's about that energetic transference, which holds place in time and space. And it really does come down to intention as well. So for example, if you were to take my attunement video in my courses and played it in a stadium, does that mean everybody gets attuned? Of course not. But it really is about simply being willing to, that intention to connect to that universal life force energy. Because again, it's not about me. The course isn't even about me. You could take this with anybody else. It's about that energy. I'm simply a facilitator. I simply am holding the space. I'm providing the box. And it's up to you to step forward and to accept that energy and move it through. And I have had the pleasure of working with so many students ever since I started offering my courses online. And the things they'll send back are just so inspiring and profound, like crazy stuff they'll say. And I feel like people, especially if they're working at home on their own time. Some people need a lot of time, but also a lot of people are fast learners. So they'll zip right through it and they don't have to wait for anybody. They could just get to it, right? And then they can practice. And so that gives them that opportunity. And they feel like I stay in touch with my students and they continue to practice. And based at least on their feedback, they don't feel like anything was missing. And and I myself have taken online energy courses, and I do not feel like anything was missing from that at all. So if this resonates with you, I'm very easy to find. All of my courses, my website, my blog is just sacredwellness.co. And you can find information for my online courses. And I'm now doing in-person courses now that restrictions are open as well, in my new Sacred Wellness Clinic facility in the classroom there. So it's just sacredwellness.co. Sorry?
Perfect. Sorry, I was going to say, and you're located in?
I'm located in St. Albert in Alberta. Yes.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
The school is online, so everywhere, wherever you are.
Totally online. So it doesn't matter as you're tuning in where you're at. The school is totally online. Amazing. So Timmie, thank you so much for sharing all of this. And you guys, you can also follow her on Instagram it's sacredwellness.co.
Yeah, that's also my website. And I'm grateful to you, Roz. And, if you join as a result of watching this video or because Roz shared, please let me know, send me a message and tell me that Roz was how you found me.
Yes.
And I would really appreciate that.
That's amazing. We always love to know where our referrals come from. So
yes, absolutely.
All right. So, and everything is in the show notes as you're watching here, whether it's on YouTube or iTunes. So you guys can check it out. If you can't find out how to find Timmie for whatever reason, hit me up as well at Bold Sexy Warrior, and I can connect you guys. Okay. So Timmie, in the last, let's say like it's going to be a quick one, 4 minutes, but I know we can get some beautiful grounding in here, meditation to in whatever way you feel called based on what you're feeling into, that the collective needs, live and on the replay. And then just, I'll come in with the light language in the last minute here or 30 seconds.
Awesome. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll do a distance healing actually, and I'll guide everybody through a heart chakra visualization. So no matter when you're listening to this, you can listen to it as many times, or when this is airing, you will receive the healing if you want to receive it. And that's all there is to that. So allowing yourself to come into a tall posture, roll the shoulders back and down, and just allow your eyes to softly close if that feels comfortable. And start to bring your awareness to your breath. And bringing your awareness now to your heart space, your heart chakra, the middle of your chest. And in your mind's eye, visualize the color green. Green like an emerald crystal. And setting the intention now to receive the universal life force energy of Reiki into your heart chakra. As you inhale, see your heart chakra glowing and growing bright as a brilliant green color. And as you exhale, see this bright green color flow and spread throughout your whole physical body, cleansing and rejuvenating your body and your aura. Inhale, focus on the heart chakra, glowing green. And then exhale, see that color spread throughout your whole physical body. And stay with this visualization for the next few moments, holding the color green in your mind as we allow Roz's light language to permeate our energy and to add to this healing experience.
Moraku rakia sorokora timniraki ratia sembrokora timniraki asoraki morokora timniraki. Breathing in. expanding this energy, this activation throughout each and every part of your cells. Just keep breathing in, and then as you breathe out love into the world. Your beautiful love essence. And noticing how you're feeling in your body. Notice the sensations. There's no right or wrong. You might feel tingling, solidness in your core, emotions arising, a sense of peace, tranquility. And see if there is a picture, an image, word or phrase that comes up to support you in keeping a piece of this experience with you. Whatever comes. And letting this be the cue to bring you back home here in the portal of your heart. And when you're ready, just very slowly and gently come on back out. Thank you so much for being here today, Timmie. I just so enjoy your jamming with you always, whether it's in personal life and here on my show. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom and your beautiful energy. And do connect with Timmie. I'd love for you to really dive into Get Activated with Timmie.
Thank you so much, Roz.